What's up, YouTube? It's Chicken Master. So when I did my recent review on my True Catalyst 7x3's, I kind of hinted at, and I kind of pointed out some of the reasons that I made the switch, right, to these True pads, and some of the benefits that came with that. I wanted to go a little bit deeper into that and really go into the differences between these two pads from these two different brands, and kind of go over why I chose each of them at the time I did and why I made the switch, right? And kind of go over the pros and cons of each, because even as great as these are, there's a thing or two that I'm not as big of a fan of, but they're probably still outweighing this. So let's get started. So one of the big reasons I got the X5 Pros, and I definitely made sure of it in their review, which I will put wherever in the corner, is they are super light and pretty comfortable. They're really easy to wear because they're so lightweight. They're not hyper light, too light, but they're very light. I mean, seriously, these things, I don't have the actual weight. I don't know. I don't have a scale, but these things are really light, which is great because they're not weighing down on you when you're playing, which is a huge, huge thing. And especially for my first new set of pads, I really like that. When I went in to try on pads, I actually was hoping to get this line of pads. And after I tried these ones on, I was more like, oh my god, these are amazing. So that was a huge thing for that. I also just like the black. I think this is a sweet look. So for Bowers, I am in a intermediate medium, which is a 31+1. Big features of it, it does have a pretty flat boot, and it comes at a pretty sharp angle. I mean, these are pretty intense. So they fit really, really well, and whatever. You're going to notice they're very, very minimal on strapping. There are a total of 3 straps on this pad. There's an inside calf strap, which is part of their Tune Fit strap system. They also have it on the Mox as well, from my understanding. And then they have this outer calf, pretty straightforward. And then they have a knee, one from the knee block. And then you can go to a wing, which is removable. I don't like the knee wing, so I have it off. I strap it down below, so it creates a nice open part up here. These are fantastic pads. Again, very light, very comfortable. Big things that I love have been the knee block with their Stabiliflex knee. And the sliding on these are really pretty good. They're amazing. And so you would think these are just great pads. Things I don't like is I don't like the bungee system that it comes with. It's not the best, at least in my opinion. I made it work. It's great, but honestly, I find it just it's a little too big for what I need, and it's a little too long. And I'll go into that in a second when I go over the Trues. It still works. You gotta have to mess with it a bit. But if you're big deal on that, that's just something you should know. Other thing I do not like is Bowers' quality. And this is half the reason I switched, honestly. The whole entire inside sides on both pads are just very visibly coming apart. A lot of the lacing and stitching is just fraying everywhere, especially on the boot for whatever. That inside boot edge, a lot of these are starting to come apart, and that's just kind of disappointing. I know they're going to come apart. It's just, it's pads. Every pad's going to have that kind of issue at some point. I've only had these for about a year now, and so that kind of falling apart is a little disheartening to see. And it's a Bauer thing in general. Generally speaking, Bauer is pretty bad on quality. So that was a big disappointing thing for me. The knee block part is also showing a lot of wear and tear from the strap. It's just unfortunate. Now the last thing, and this is where one of the big comparison things is going to come in. This is a very soft pad. The boot is very soft. I like it. I think it's great. But up here is very soft as well. Rebounds are really hot on this thing. I'm actually going to, I'm going to level with you. It's very soft pad, but because it's all one surface, there's no external break and stuff like that, it really kind of lends itself to really kind of, especially on this bottom half, it's very hot. The puck fires off really, really well. So you got to give it to Bauer for that. It's amazing here. This part, though, suffers a bit from the trapdoor effect that a lot of players talk about. You don't see it as much with the higher level, and even with the Supreme line, there's a lot stiffer. There's just more stuff going on. These do have a lot of that going on, as well as the +1, for me, just isn't the move. I will say that these pads fit a little bit, kind of off a little bit. I fell a little bit lower on the knee block than I probably would like. A little bit higher. So I could probably squeeze myself into a 32 if I really wanted to. I really probably could. But the 31s fit a lot better initially, so that was kind of what we went for. But with that being said, that +1 really kind of becomes shorter. Because if you actually hold them up at the knee block, they're pretty similar in size. Like, seriously. But that doesn't include the boot and the flex of the boot. They're both pretty flexible, and yet because of that knee block difference, they sit differently. And so, one, make sure you're getting the right size. But number two, these are the right size. They both are. I did try on the 32s. They were I was landing too far down on the knee block. It was very uncomfortable. So, keep that in mind. As we switch to the Trues, again, very soft boot. It's very comfortable. I love these. Very flat boot too. A little bit flatter than the Bauer. The Bauer has a little bit of give. Not like a lot. Oh, jeez. But it's there. I mean, it's pretty flat. Like, I'll give it that. But something about this is just flatter and stronger. It just feels better. These pads are a lot thicker. They will feel a lot thicker and heavier than the Bauer X5 Pros. But honestly, once you get used to that change, it's not as bad. So big differences between this and the Bauers. A lot softer on the whole shin of the whole bottom of the knee. Right? A lot softer. Pucks don't fly off as much. They still fly off a fair amount. Rebounds are really good. They're more controllable, I've noticed. But a softer shot is more likely to die at your pad, which is great for covering and stuff like that. So if you're in a close-in situation, you want to stop that puck anyway. You don't want to give up a rebound to your team, the other team that's going to be right there in front of you already. So these really do have that power. So the knee rolls are really, really stiff, honest to God. So it's like pucks are going to fly off of this thing on that knee. And then above, the big thing that True's been going for is that thin, super stiff thigh rise. This is a +31 +2. Fits very much similar to the X5, but that extra length is huge for me. It was actually a turnoff when I first tried them on. I almost didn't like it. I'm really disappointed in myself because I love it now. Holy God, these are amazing. It is really hard to hit this and have it squeak it. You have to be messing up on purpose to let a puck in through the top part of this. I mean, it's outrageous how stiff it is. And how thin it really is, too, for how stiff it is. So, huge points to True, especially on that inside. You can really see that difference. This is nothing new. These pads have been out for a minute. But their hazardous line is launching this out as well. It's becoming standard. And, even then, these are pretty thin for overlap. But because they're so thin, they didn't think, oh, we need to make it not bent. So, big thing for True there. I love the knee block. Honestly, it's great. The customization on this pad is just a lot better, too. You can do a lot more with the different straps. Speaking of straps, there are a lot more straps because True has their FRS system that Bauer does not. It's in the same spot as Bauer's Tune Fit system for that calf. But really, the brilliance behind this is the rotation of the pad. And I do notice a difference. These pads usually, for the most part, fit a lot better and they rotate better when I'm moving up and down. So it's just these two straps here around, right? Again, nothing new. We're seeing on these pads for years now, but it's amazing. It really is. It's really, really nice. And with that too, the channel is amazing. And for a soft pad, it's a really wide channel because again, you have that FRS system, which kind of closes it up. So if you like a pad that sits close to you, usually in that softer pad, even for as wide as this channel is, I mean, it's pretty good size. The FRS system makes it feel like it's right, like you're right in it. You know, you feel close to the pad, but then at the same time, you can feel open and stuff with the external calf and the knee. Again, you can have a knee wing. Again, I don't like them, so I take it out and I strap down below. There's an extra strap that comes out of the knee block higher. It's their nylon strap. I didn't like it, so I took it out. I just didn't feel like it was doing anything for me. Took it out, almost liked it better without. So, but really, like, almost everything about this pad is better. The foams on the inside are so much better. The sliding is a lot better. There's a lot less surface area that's like actually touching. This is at an angle. I don't know how to really show it. This, when you slide, you're actually only hitting this part. You know what I mean? Like, if you push down, like, you'll fill in more, but it's like, this inside isn't actually touching, which is really nice. And quality is a lot better. It's True, for God's sake. True is really trying hard, and they're doing a great job. Nothing's falling apart here. I love it. You know, it's showing signs of wear, but it's not showing a lot of signs of wear. It's not dying, and that's huge. So, huge point to True on the leg pads. The True leg pads are just fitting so much better, and they just feel so much better. I still like the Bowers. I still use them, but there's weaknesses with that. So, leg pads over, let's get to blocker. We'll start with Bower again. I actually really like the Bower X5 Pro blocker. It's very comfortable. It's very tight. It's a much tighter fitting glove. Granted, it's also a little dry. I haven't used it for a minute. But it really, I like that tight fit. Downside, with the wrist, you have to do something about the elastic to actually get full. Once it's like wet, it feels a little bit better. I don't know why. But there's not much else about the blocker. The protection on it is really good. I haven't really had any issues. My favorite part is actually how hard it is. This is a very stiff blocker. Rebounds on this thing are amazing. There's something about this blocker. It's just very, very comfortable. And it's very light again, and it's very thin. It very holds itself. Like, look at that. This is the blocker board. It's insane, and I love it. I really do. Sometimes it's a little too tight, but honestly, that's a thing I can overlook, especially once I start sweating in it. It's not actually that tight. It'll fall right off if I make it, in like a good way. Like, not in that, like, I can just let go and it'll just drop off. Like, I have to, like, pry it off a little. I have to give a little push to it, but then it comes right off. So, really, really like it. Honestly, not too much negative about it. It really is a solid blocker. And I haven't had quite as many issues with it falling apart on me. You know, like, there's signs of wear and tear, but for the most part, nothing too big. A little bit on the internal where I'm moving my hand inside and out, but that's pretty normal. So, honestly, point to the blocker. The blocker's amazing because I also really like the True blocker. I really do. The only thing is, with the 7x3, the blocker, I'm in this weird spot with True. For Bauer, their senior blockers fits pretty tight, and I like that. I have slightly, I don't have big hands like a lot of adults, right? So their senior X5 Pro fits really well. For True, their intermediate size is way too small. It's tighter than that. The senior is almost too loose in the fingers and stuff, so I'm actually not reaching the full length of the finger. It's not a huge issue. I've overcome it a bit, but it's weird. You feel it the first few times especially, but even now, it's like, you notice it. Granted, you can make this fit really, really well. And I have made this fit really well. There's a lot of customization to be had in here with Velcro and all that, all the good stuff, right? Protection-wise, I love it. I feel great in it. I don't feel it the risk. Rebounds are pretty hot off of this as well. It's a bit thicker and chunkier, but honestly, not too big of a deal. But honestly, if I have to say, I like the Bauer one more. I really do. I love the True one. The Bauer just feels a little bit better. So, huge point to Bauer on that. Do I use the Bauer when I'm using my True? No. I like the full set. And this is not a bad blocker by any means. This one just feels a little bit better. So that's that. Really quick. I mean, again, for blockers, these do great. And I don't want to get too worried about that. So, gloves, this is where it finally comes to its head. I don't like this glove. I really don't like this glove. It sucks. It will not break in for the life of me. Again, I've had this glove for over a year. I can't get it to close well. Even when it's like wet and warm, you're only going to get this much. There is so much wrong with this. And before you go, oh, you're not, maybe, you might not be spending time with it. And there's some truth. Like, I haven't spent as much time ever since I got the True pads. But, like, out of the box, this glove is impossible. And, I've been trying over and over, steaming it, get just every little thing that I could probably do. It's just not it. It might need a professional break-in. That might really help it. But at the same time, I really feel like that, I should be able to get it good enough. I will say, the pocket's not bad, but it's honestly really stiff, even in the pocket with all the bungee, with this lace. Honestly, it's not a good glove. I feel like once broken in, it'll probably be a lot better. I do like, again, how light and how thin, like, this portion is. I also don't like, actually, the back side of it, where I go in. Holding it upright competes with my chest pad, with my chest protector. Could that be my chest protector? Possibly. But I don't have that issue with the True one that's on the floor at the moment. I don't have that issue with the True one as much, because True designed a better one. Bauer has this weird little piece right here that kind of comes out. I don't know why. I don't understand it, because True's doesn't do that. True's gives in, and you'll see it in a little bit. And this thing just gets stiff if you don't even use it for like a couple of days. This stuff gets really stiff really, really fast. I will say, opening the glove, it's great. Closing it, not so much. Very triangular too, when it's kind of in a middle area. I don't like that. Customization wise, it's not bad. But again, like, you don't get a lot of like option when it comes to opening up this part and stuff. And so the strapping on the inside is really, really kind of bare bones. It's really basic. So again, not a fan of this glove. And again, it has taken me forever, and it still won't do anything. Whereas, there we go. Sometimes it like folds in weird, and you let it dry. There we go. I still have some time to go on breaking it in, but out of the box, it closed to like here. So after some break-in, it really closes. And I love this glove. The pocket is amazing. The puck goes in it. This thing is a vacuum. Holy cow. And something about the white, especially on the gloves, just makes the glove that much cooler, because it shows that I am using the glove. It shows that I'm like actually making catches with it. Because something with like the Bauer, I make glove saves with it. We've seen in my videos, I make glove saves. Something about this, it just eats them better. And I love it. Maybe color has something to do with it, but I really feel like it's because this glove, the pocket's a little deeper, for one, right? Two, it cushions the puck better. The puck is not likely to jump out into the middle part That was something I noticed with the Bauer, is that you would catch it in here and then it would slide. And especially because it doesn't close, it doesn't do anything. It's more like it's gonna bounce around. Whereas with the True, it goes in and you have enough time to close it up before it tries to escape. So huge props to that. This one also, it doesn't feel as, this is a little bit thicker. I would say it's a little bit tougher of plastic and foam and stuff. So you can feel it in here a little bit if it's a stinger. But honestly, for where I play, not as big of a worry, so I'm not too worried. A little bit thicker in here, but I do like the curves of it. And I like curves. You don't really feel it. So, huge props there. I'd say finger protection on them is about on par on the top. I'd say the hazardous really has built up because it has that extra piece. I think it's great. So, let's get to the one thing about this that I really hated, and that's this part right here of the glove. Don't have that issue on here. This whole part, one, bends right here. I don't know if you can see. It bends like right here, and it really can move for my chest pads. It's amazing how much more upright I can get this naturally. And so, huge props. Customization, again, just like the blocker, just like the leg pads. You have a lot of options in these pads, in this glove, to get it to feel right. There are so many. There's a strap here that you kind of really can't see. It's all black. There's the strap for the pinky. There's your strap for the top of your hand. There's your wrist, and then your thumbs over on this side. Like, it's insane how many options you have on this glove to get it to feel as right as you can get it. And I love it. I love it. Again, True. Huge points. This is the best glove I've ever used so far. They're both $5.90 ish. For Bauer, it's whatever their equivalent is. It's not their Vapor 90. It's near it. And I would love to try a 580, especially from True. So, True, if you're listening, I'd love a 580. But anyway, that's really it. That's kind of the differences between the two. So when I made the switch, right, I was really looking for how do I feel more confident and comfortable with my pads. Part of it was, too, I wanted to just use True. There was something about it that I kind of was like, fine, I need to use it. But in reality, a lot of it came down to the performance. I'm a shit goalie. Like, if I don't make the save, it doesn't matter what pads I'm using, right? But I have felt more confident and comfortable with the Trues. The taller thigh, the better glove, and a pretty similar blocker, which I already felt like I was pretty strong with. I'm in that spot of the Trues have built on everything that I could have asked for, right? Are they a little bit heavier? Yes, but honestly, once you get used to them a little bit, once you break it in and once you get used to it, like my first time out with the True leg pads, because I got them about a week earlier, yeah, that was kind of frustrating. That wasn't great. But once you overcome it, it's just not an issue, right? And you should have strong legs anyway. So, you know, it just, it's kind of that, for me especially, this was a huge change, and it was a change for the better. Do I still use the Bauers? Absolutely. I think I mentioned that earlier. Especially like the drop-ins I've been doing. Because of the Big Bear games, I've been trying to use these ones more. Because one, I'm more confident and comfortable. Two, I just feel like they're going to do better. But I've been still breaking out the Bauers for drop-ins and stuff like that. To really kind of, one, make sure that they don't go unused, right? I still love them. They're still really cool pads. I like the all black. And there's things about them that I do like that I still want to get out of them, you know. But it's very easy to get wrapped up in the, well, this is better, and here's why. But it's also fun to go, you know what, these are my first new pads that I ever bought. I want to keep using them as much as I can. So, overall, the change was made because I wanted to get that extra bit of performance for the same price and the same skill level, right? These are both kind of your. I mean, this is your mid tier. And could I have maybe just gone for GSX? I probably could and should have. I could and should have, you know. But there was something about these that really spoke to me that I did enjoy, and I think I enjoyed these a little bit more than I probably would have X5 or GSX. So, like, you get a little bit more out of it than you do GSX, but at the same time, like, GSX is probably just as fine, right? And especially because I made a switch, doesn't matter which power I was using. Not really. But, again, still like these. These are just way better. Especially I changed the toe ties here recently. I don't know if you kept up with the Big Bear series. If you haven't, you definitely should. My toe ties broke. The stock pro laces that come on your Trues are like the base elastic ones. They're nice, but they broke. I actually just didn't take care of the screws very well, so that all came apart. And then when I actually went and looked at it, the toe ties themselves were really deteriorating, which was kind of unfortunate, but it worked out. So I upgraded to the Armor ones. I love these. These are amazing. So that's also a plus that helps these pads. But yeah, True always knocks it out of the park. If you haven't too, I will also make sure wherever. I have my review of the Trues as well. So if you want to, you can check that out. They're not new pads, but at any point at this, they've been out for a hot minute. But well, yeah, you got the Hazardous coming out. So yeah, that is my really extremely long deep dive into as a comparison of these two pads and kind of why I made the switch between the two. If you have any questions about it, something that you think I didn't address, please let me know. I know this one was kind of long. I didn't want it to be long, but I also felt like there was enough stuff to talk about that it felt valid. So until then, I will see you on the next one. Take care, and bye-bye.